So let's talk about climate change. Or rather, let's talk about the climate change agenda and how both sides are getting a little bit duped. So let's say there are just two sides to this story. On the one side, there is the mainstream view of Greta Thunberg and all that stuff you see on TV, that we're destroying the earth and that our CO2 emissions are creating this global warming and that it's all man-made, climate change influenced. And there's that whole idea. And then see what's happening there is that idea is being taken, hacked towards trying to initiate some sort of carbon tax, some sort of control through a force to have more power over how we do the means of production and how things work here. They want to have that control. Then there's the other side that's, pointing that out, saying, oh, no, that we don't need to worry about that. Climate change isn't man-made. We just need to continue our business, blah, And see, what they're saying is climate change isn't man-made, which may be true. Climate change may be part of the natural Earth cycle, and even part of the Earth cycle moving through the galaxy, part of the whole solar system moving through the galaxy. But of course, so let's say they are lying about man-made climate change to initiate some sort of carbon tax for the globalists to take over and do their thing, because that's what they're trying to do. Further take over the world. And that's not a good thing, and we shouldn't buy into their agenda. But this force that's further trying to take over the world has already wreaked havoc on it. You see, we have a problem. Pollution is a problem. We're polluting the air. We're polluting the water. We have destroyed the earth, our home, Mother Earth, Gaia. We are destroying it, and we need to fix that. So yes, they are lying to you about the nature of climate change, and their agenda behind it isn't going to help humanity. It's probably not even going to help the earth. It's all a bunch of bullshit. They all just lie. This whole mainstream, who's ever behind it up top, is always full of shit and trying to steal our collective consciousness. That's stuff for another video. Good stuff. But the whole point is we're being duped through both sides. And that's where they're getting us. So they're trying to pin us against each other instead of realizing the real issue. Okay? You see, what the real issue is, our pollution and our relationship with Earth is severely parasitic rather than symbiotic. We need to have a harmony with Earth. We can't continue to destroy her like we are. I absolutely agree. We need to change radically our approach to life and society and all that to have a better relationship with the living earth, to have this more connection with nature. That is pivotal. But the agenda behind the mainstream climate change push isn't about that. Really, they want you to think it's about that. You know what I mean? They want you to buy into their nice, happy, hippie, save the earth thing. Like, yeah, that's how they're going to get you. And then they're going to impose these regulations, and they're going to have the control over it. They want to keep control over it. These large corporations, these governments, they're all tied into the same entities. The media, they all trace back up to the top. Ultimately, is it some sort of hyperdimensional, extraterrestrial influence? Well, maybe, but I said that stuff for another video. Good stuff, yes. And so, it's very important to understand. Yes, we need to save the earth, but these people saying, well, I don't want to, they're just trying to make us pay taxes and blah, 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 they're not wrong. The agenda pushed on us through this mainstream narrative isn't actually going to help. And that's where we're being kind of double duped here. And it's convincing other people that see this globalist agenda of people further trying to take over the earth, see it and are calling it out. And that's making other people think they're calling out the idea that we don't even need to change our relationship with Earth in the first place. When really, that's the most pivotal part. We need to change our philosophy over the Earth. One to a more organic view where life and consciousness are a part of nature, not something that comes out of a dead nature. There's now held the mechanistic view that Earth, nature, the universe works like a machine, not an organic living substance. And that's what we need to move towards. So just be careful and realize that both sides have their points and their flaws. And that's why when it comes to pretty much everything you see pushed on you, rise above the dichotomy. Because that's just trying to keep you fighting with each other. And there's something else that they don't want you to know that's away from that lower struggle. And it can be very well pointed out through this, our relationship to Earth. We need to change it. We need to create the symbiotic relationship. We need to stop all this pollution and this nonsense. But those motherfuckers, I did so well without cussing this whole video, but well, too late. Might as well go for another one. Those motherfuckers aren't trying to actually help us. They don't give a fuck about the Earth. If they did, they wouldn't have been destroying it for thousands of years, particularly in the last few hundred. And you could say, well, those are different people. Yeah, maybe they're not even people. They're hyperdimensional extraterrestrials, man. But I shouldn't have mentioned all that in this video because I just kind of wanted to make it nice and about how we need to actually save the Earth and create a more harmonious relationship, kind of a more down-to-earth thing. But, I do what I do. So, let's just go back and sum it up so you get it. I know you do, but we need to save the Earth. Very important. Well, actually, save the Earth. I mean, I don't think we're going to destroy the Earth. We'll destroy ourselves before we destroy the Earth. And, but it probably should be important to us to save ourselves. We need to change our relationship to Earth. We need to stop this pollution. It's not only harming the Earth, it's harming ourselves. And it's pretty fucking stupid, man. What are we doing here? Why are we just polluting everywhere? Why? Whose idea was this? Not a good one. Not someone who actually has the best interest of humanity in mind. Well, that's for sure. So we need to change our relationship to Earth, change our whole philosophy. That's what most of my videos are about, moving towards this organic philosophical perspective. And it's pivotal, but we can't trust this. I just call it the mainstream narrative of all this shit you see on TV about how they're not going to help us. Funnels up to the top of the pyramid, and the people at the top of the pyramid aren't interested in actually helping us and helping the Earth move towards this change in philosophical outlook. Or else they would obviously do that. And they're not, because that's not what they're about. They're about power and control. And they want to preserve their power. And we can't let them do this. So you got to be careful to not buy into their narrative, even though in your hearts of hearts, you really want to help the earth. And you should. That's good. But they don't. And they're confiscating your genuine interest to feed their agenda. That's what they do. So don't fall into this dichotomous struggle of save the earth, no, save the power structure. Or they're not even saying that. Save the earth, no, bad people are behind that. The earth is fine. You know what I'm saying? There's people, people have been pointing out like, oh no, this is just the globalist agenda. We don't need to change. But, they're missing the whole point of, well, this whole pollution is part of the globalist agenda. Who's ever behind that? This isn't some new thing arising where there's this new globalism thing occurring. It's the same forces that have been doing this to humanity for thousands of years. They're the same, and now they're just trying to tighten their control because we are waking up out of it. So, I think I made the point, and now I just keep rambling on. So, just remember, yes, we need to change our philosophy. That's what's going to help. And not just feed the evil forces. Because they're lying to you. The media lies to you. They don't actually care. People might care that are on the TVs, but their boss isn't even a person, man. It's Satan himself! No, that's too far out there. But, this was supposed to be a nice, innocent video about saving the earth. Oopsies! But it's all true still. And, just focus on that. The rest of it might be too much. Or it's not too much. Hopefully it isn't. It's good stuff. Interesting stuff. Humanity will win. If you're into God, God will win. Consciousness will win. Peace and love for all, man. Peace and love and harmony.